Question for you. How many photos do you have on your camera roll right this second? Go look. I've got 18,000. That's too much for me, personally. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Zach. I'm a photographer and videographer, but more important than that, I'm a husband and a father. And today we're talking about decluttering and organizing the camera roll on your phone so that it's a lot easier to find photos that you want to remember. The thing about iPhones and all phones, I guess in general nowadays that have storage capabilities, is that it's an amazing feature to be able to have all the photos you want here on your device, able to quickly look at any time. The problem is it's also really easy to take photos, and it's really easy for our camera rolls to become cluttered, which then means it's hard for us to find the photos that we actually want to look at and relive. And that to me is a big problem. So over the past couple years, I have a few processes that I've created that help me to declutter my camera roll, but then also keep it a little bit more organized so that I'm not having all that wasteful photos that I don't need, and I'm able to find the photos that I do need or do want quickly and easily. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So the first step is to unclutter your camera roll. And really this just boils down to delete stuff. Delete photos that you don't need and that you don't want. Here's the thing, it's so easy to take photos with our phones nowadays that we end up having a ton of photos in our camera roll that we just don't need or really don't want. For me, my big thing is I have to take pictures of all my receipts for my church job, and I always forget to go through and delete those. So I just end up with a ton of receipt photos in my phone that after a month, I don't need, and they're just taking up space. They're cluttering up my camera roll. At the same time, while I don't use my phone for photos, my wife does. She takes my phone because apparently my camera is better than hers, and she will take photos of the kids, of family life, whatever. The thing is, she's not just taking one photo, but she's taking like 30. She just keeps snapping, and most of us do, right? Because especially if you have kids, you want to make sure you get a shot, and sometimes that's the only way to do it, and just hope and pray, right? But when that happens, you end up with like 30 of the same photo, and if you don't go through and delete 29 of them, well then your phone just gets cluttered up and it's such a mess. So boils down to delete stuff, but there's a few specific things, few specific areas that we can start with. And the first is that in our phones, they actually have this really cool feature where it will identify duplicate photos. Now, this isn't like I just said where you take 30 photos and it all looks pretty similar. It's photos that are the exact same. So if you go into your duplicates section here, you can see that there are a ton of photos that are the exact same, right? Here's this photo back when we had a dog, and it's the exact same. Now, this can happen for a ton of different reasons, but what you just do is you just merge those two photos. Now, instead of having two photos, you just have one. And honestly, for me, I just go in and I select all and then merge all of them. Now I just went from having 106 photos down to just 53. So I just got rid of 53 photos easily like that. Now that's not going to, make a big chunk of damage when you have 18,000 photos, but it does something. The next one is to go through the different categories you have in your phone and delete stuff that you don't want. So, right, it can break it down into videos, selfies, life portraits, all these different things. To me, the big one that gets me is screenshots. Sometimes I'll screenshot messages, or I'll screenshot this, Halloween costume that I want to send to my wife. And after I send it, I don't need them. So what I can do is just go through, select everything that I want to delete, and then delete it. And in doing that, I'm again decluttering the space, getting rid of photos that I don't need, that I don't want. And if I go through this and there are photos I do need to keep or I do want to keep, that's totally fine. But for the most part, it's getting rid of the stuff I don't need. Now I can do the same thing with screen recordings. For me, I end up having a lot of screen recordings because I'll do this for YouTube videos and things like that. Raw photos, I can do the same thing here, bursts, slow-mos, all these different things you can go through, and you can utilize this organization piece to easily get rid of stuff that you don't need or you don't want. Now, another way to get rid of photos you don't want is to stop photos you don't want from even coming to your device. A lot of the times, if you are in group chats or just in messages and people send you photos, if you don't have your settings correct, you might end up getting those photos saved to your device automatically. So if you look at this photo right here, my wife, her vote picture, it was sent to me by my wife and it automatically got downloaded. I can click on it, I can see it says from wifey, I can see the little messages icon down in the bottom left. That tells me that I didn't take this photo, but my wife sent it to me and it got downloaded to my device. Now, there's an easy way to stop that from happening. All you have to do is go into your settings, you're gonna go down to messages, and then you're gonna click on this shared with you and just turn that off. Basically, now, whenever someone texts you a message that has a photo in it, it will not automatically get downloaded to your phone. You can still choose to download it, but it's not gonna do it automatically. Now, the next way you can delete photos is, like I said, if you know that you take a lot of photos of things that you don't need, like receipts, like I do, you can go into the search bar, you can type in receipts, and here it'll pull up 98 photos of receipts, things that I do not need to keep anymore. And so again, I can go through and I can select all of these and delete them. And easily enough, there I'm getting rid of 98 photos. Now, these are all great little tools that'll help you unclutter what is on your camera, but the real big way to do this is to actually have to manually go through, look at the photos, and delete the ones you don't want. And like I said, it boils down to when you take 30 of the same photos and you need to go through and you need to pick one or two of the photos that you like out of that group of 30. And this way, you're cutting out a ton of stuff. And now when you're scrolling, you're not gonna just see 30 of the same photos, but you're gonna see one or two alongside other photos that are important to you and that you're keeping and are special. And as an added bonus, when you do this, you're actually also kind of like triggering like the nostalgia in your mind and you're reliving these moments. It's kind of like I always think of it as scrolling through social media, but it's my own personal archive of social media. And so I'm looking at these photos, I'm like, oh, I like this one. I'm gonna delete these other ones, but I like this one and I remember what was happening here and all that sort of stuff. So in that way, it's not just if you can change your mindset to be like, I'm just going through and I'm cleaning through my phone. It's more so I'm going through and I'm looking at the photos and I'm choosing the photos I want to keep and just getting rid of the rest. That's the best mindset to have. So once you've got your device uncluttered, now it's time to go through and start organizing. And so for me, I have a few specific things that I will do to organize my photos so that it's easy to find them when I want them. Now, the problem is I can't necessarily do all the ways to organize them on my iPad or on my phone. I have to do them on my computer. There's one feature that just doesn't transfer to the phone or to the iPad for some reason, and that's tags. And so for that reason, I will usually do this process on my computer. So usually for me, I will do my organization and my uncluttering at the same time. I'll go through and look at photos like these where I have, like I said, 30 of the same photo, and I'll go through and delete the ones I don't want, pick the one I do want, and then in that one or two that I do keep, I will add a caption, I will add a tag, and I will make sure that the people are tagged in that photo so that it's easy to find them. So let's just, for the sake of time, say that I'm getting rid of all these photos, but I'm gonna keep this one here of my daughter and son and I decorating the tree. So what you can do is up here, there's this little icon. Usually it looks like a little eye. For some reason, it's looking like a leaf because it's identifying the tree in the photo. But what I can do is I can make sure that my face is tagged, my daughter's face is tagged, and then actually I could always add in my son as well if I want to, because he is over here. So we'll add him in, and then I can add in a caption. So to me, I always think of the captions as like, this is what my grandma used to write on the back of the printed out photos she would have. And it was a way so that, 20 years from now, or 20 years later, the people who looked at the photo could know who's in the photo, what's going on, and just give a little bit of context. So I'll just say 2024 Christmas decorating with the kids. And then I'll add just like a little personal touch to the caption as well. So I'll say Mia really enjoyed decorating the tree this year. Milo enjoyed pulling off all the ornaments. Now, when I come back to this photo 3 years from now, I can see this and I can have a little laugh about how the kids are behaving about it. Also, I can add key tags. So I can say Christmas I could say Xeno Family Yearbook. So there, now I have that photo tagged and captioned, and it means that I can go back later and look for that photo, look for that specific photo just by searching Christmas or searching Xeno Family Yearbook or things like that. Now, I'll show you how I actually do this. I have one tag that I use a lot for our business, and that is one called WIPA. It's a group my wife and I are a part of. So anytime that we go to one of these events and I take photos, I'll pull them into the computer and I will tag them as WIPA. And in this way, we're able just to go back and look at all these different photos from our trips to these events. And it's a quick and easy process. And so I can pull up photos like this one, and I can open up the icon and I can see Em and I at our fall WIPA event in Cincinnati. I didn't add a personal touch to that one, but that's okay. But I can see my wife and I are tagged. I can see the tags for WIPA and for Xeno Productions. And so in this way, it's really easy to then just find specific photos. Now, the thing is, this is a tedious process and it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of dedication to do this. And it's not just doing it one time. Every time you upload photos or you take photos, you have to go through this process again. And so, like I kind of said earlier, I treat this more so as a pseudo form of social media, because instead of scrolling for 30 minutes on Instagram and looking at other people's photos, who half the time it's just ads and I don't care about, instead I can scroll through my own phone or I can scroll through the photos on my computer and I can look at some of the old photos and I can relive those moments and I can clean out the ones that I don't want. I can add some captions, I can add some tags. And in this way, not only am I organizing everything, not only am I decluttering everything, but I'm also getting to relive those memories. And that's the key here. We're not getting rid of photos. We're not decluttering our photos just to save space on our cameras. It's more so to be able to easily find the photos we want to see and relive those moments and memories. That's the key here. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped you. I know that's a lot. I know it's tedious, but start small. Maybe like every night for 5 minutes, you just go through and you start decluttering and you start tagging, you're adding captions and things like that. Hopefully this has helped you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.